Hello, Star Citizens. Hopefully you're all having an absolutely fantastic weekend, trying to get yourselves into 3.18. I wanted to sort of make a video about what's been going on the last couple of days and how the patch is going, all that sort of stuff. But before I get into that, Crux Cup, 2 weeks away. Make sure you sign up. I believe signups end today. $6,500 worth of prizes to up for grabs. So yeah, make sure you sign up for that one because it's going to be a big event. So if you've been paying attention at all to Star Citizen, 3.18 got pushed to live late Friday for American viewers and whatnot. And it has been a very, very rough patch, as we would sort of assume that 3.18 would be, because it's PES. PES is an absolutely massive deal. We've seen all the PTU patches and we've seen all the issues that can come from that. So we've got a lot of reports of people having lots of issues actually logging into the game, first of all, and actually being able to even get to the character customization screen, which I had that exact issue today. Tried to hop in for about 3 hours, was not able to get into the game. We're having issues with people actually, after getting past that initial hump, actually trying to get into the game and having issues. And then for those very, very small few that are actually getting into the game, it's been really, really rough. Now, like I said, this was kind of expected. 3.18 is a really, really rough patch. It brings in a ton of awesome content. It's such a game changer in terms of the back end. Things like this is bound to happen. So firstly, we've got a couple of updates on this whole situation. So Xylo posted up on Twitter that they've updated the status page with some information. Since the launch of Star Citizen Alpha 3.18, our teams have been monitoring a number of issues players have been encountering while attempting to log into the game. These are primarily manifested in the form of 19,003 and 19,004 with a mix of other similar codes. While monitoring these issues, the team has been able to tune and make adjustments to the entitlement processing flow to ensure the large portion of player attempts were still successful and able to make it into the PU. However, at a point in the early morning UTC, the environment entered into a state which would require a more disruptive recovery process. As of 1300 UTC, the environment has been in the process of recovering from the state it was in. We wanted to advise that while this recovery is in progress, players will experience periods of extreme difficulty getting into the PU. We expect players to see a mix of errors from the 19K, 30K, and 60K ranges. So yeah, like I said, it's been a very, very rough patch for people actually attempting to get into the game. And a lot of this comes down to is just so many people that want to play the game right now. One thing I want to point out is there's a lot of people sort of throwing out that there's fixes for these that you could try by like logging into incognito mode or just spam logging in and whatnot. It does seem to be an issue on CRG's end, and they have said as much. So there's not really any fixes that you can do yourself to get in, and that's just going to be the way it is until the servers are fixed. Now, I saw someone mentioning on Reddit that there was apparently a comment on Spectrum about how the concurrency tests that they did in PTU would max out at about 800 to 900 people, whereas the second that 3.18 went live, it was basically 10,000 people trying to get on at once. Now, I haven't verified this post, and the Spectrum post appears to either be deleted or just doesn't exist at all. But I think that it's a fair assumption to make that that is likely the case. Not everyone wants to play PTU, so when they have done the PTU stress tests, it probably hasn't been up to snuff for, what's been happening in live. Especially from experience from people coming into chat and checking out YouTube videos and such, there have been so many people waiting for 3.18 to go live that it's unsurprising that it's been, this rough of a start. Plus bringing into, all of this new tech. It's also unsurprising that, the people that have been able to get in the game haven't really been able to get their ships. They haven't really been able to complete missions or anything like that. The servers just aren't able to handle everything right now. And that definitely seems to be the main issue, especially with, the vast majority of problems that happened in PTU were PES related. None of these other things, all the mechanics tended to work pretty decently. So it looks like we're just going to have to wait a couple of days for 3.18 to sort of fix itself a little bit and the devs to do their job, because they've been doing a great job for the most part. They apparently even mentioned, Xylo said that, they've been working across the weekend trying to get a lot of these fixes in. So, I mean, absolutely thank you, CRG. I would rather you have your weekend, but sometimes this happens on a launch, obviously. One thing I did want to add is there has been talk of a wipe happening in 3.18.1. So when 3.18 released, they did mention that they're probably going to do some sort of 3.18.1 in the next couple of weeks, which is mostly just going to be bug fixes and improvements and whatnot. And as a part of that, it is possible, apparently, that they might have to do a partial wipe. Now, they mentioned it's not going to be a UAC, it's probably not going to be ships or anything, but inventory is likely going to be affected. Now, once again, this is not 100% that this wipe will happen, but it's something to be aware of when you jump into the verse this week, once maybe 3.18, polishes off a bit more and you can actually get a decent gameplay session in, that you may lose some progress, but not a lot. So don't worry about it too much. Just try to have fun with the new patch if you can even get in. Like I said, I spent about 3 hours trying to get in. I could not get in today. I saw Salty Mike was you know, trying to get in for about 4 hours before he gave up. Yeah, it's a rough patch, but it's, you know, the biggest patch that Star Citizen has had in at least 5 years. Yeah, that's about it for me. Just another casual video. I hope you guys enjoy these casual videos where I just talk a little bit about news and what's coming up. But yeah, I'll hopefully catch you guys soon. I want to run my Iron Man really, really soon. I really hope 318 polishes up. That's all I want to say. All right, catch you guys.